All right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. How we doing out there? Doc and Mav here with Ready Set Trade, or Ready Set Crypto, sorry. Doing our Ready Set Live session. How we doing out there? Where are you guys coming in from? We have Willeke from the Netherlands. We have Benjamin from Bonsoir from Paris. Paris.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Where are you guys coming in from? And if you could do us a huge favor and hit that like button, really helps us out, really helps kick off the stream. Let's get some people in here, get some activity. It should be a fun one, should be short, nice and easy. Where are you guys coming in from?
All right. So we got the Gold Coast of Australia. What an awesome place. Savannah, Georgia. Beautiful place. Let's see. Where in Savannah did we used to go up on the rooftop? Was that the Bohemian? That was a super cool place. So you look down on the river there. Awesome place. Oh, let's see. We got Deerfield Beach, Florida. We got Ireland, the Netherlands. I love that. The Netherlands, not just Holland, but the Netherlands. It's the Bohemian. That's right. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a few years, but we used to go down there all the time. Love that area. Montreal. What's up from Tennessee? All right, everybody, let us know. Welcome aboard. We're Doc and Mav from Ready Set Crypto. We're doing our Ready Set Live session here. We'll be here with you for about the next 20 minutes or so, and we'll give you some high quality content during that time. And then we'll be in and out of here. Let's see. Okay, so Barry's username says that he wants to read Digibyte. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to the charts in a minute.
All right. Yeah, so for those who are just tuning in, haven't seen the streams before, or just need a reminder, general format of what we do here is we'll start off, talk about some of the projects that we're watching right now, why we're watching them, what's the general theme, and then we'll dig into more of the charts, kind of what's going on in the markets. So that way, if you stick around through the whole stream, you should have a good understanding of some projects to watch, how to look at them from a charting perspective, what's the big picture going on right now. And yeah, I think it'll be a good use of your time. So buckle up, should be some fun stuff ahead. I hope. All right. So with that, let's kick it off and talk about some projects. Sound good? Cool. Right. So for those who are watching from, maybe like a flip phone or something like that, if you'd like to be able to see the projects that I'm talking about, because obviously this just looks like a, there's no way you can see the text here. I'll zoom in here in a sec, but if you'd like to follow along and get some notes on each of these projects that I'm talking about, down in the bio below, and this is a stream, so you can just hit that anytime, no worries. It's not going to go away. There is a link. It's got a little finger next to it. That will let you see this list of projects in a nice format. It's part of our other site service called Ready Set Vision. It's free to join. We post these there every week, so you can go back and look at all the projects that we've talked about. I think this year alone, we've probably covered. We're starting to get into probably over 100 mark now. We've been doing this about since February, so it's kind of fun to be able to go back and look and see, what we were talking about back in like February, for example, and say like, okay, yeah, Alpha Finance, for example, that was one of the ones they were talking about then. We're going to be talking about it today. So we bring some of them back. Some of them are new, And as always, we try to have a general theme to each of the weeks because we're trying to find a good angle of approach, what way we can look at the crypto markets and find, that next big thing, right? So today, what I'd like to do is cover a couple of projects in the general sense or theme around DeFi, around layer two is becoming a really hot button issue. I think that's what we're going to make next week's theme about, is specifically around layer two, because we're getting ready for Ethereum 2.0 to launch. And you got some other big projects like Binance Smart Chains doing stuff like that, and you've got Cardano doing smart contracts in August, and all this good stuff is coming. So crypto is getting really exciting. For those who don't see that or want to cast doubt on the space, they're not paying attention. There's a lot of really good stuff going on right now, and in particular, these projects that I'm watching today, I think are great examples of that. So let's go through them really quickly. This is going to be kind of a lightning round because like Doc said, I think we're going to try to keep today's session about 20 or so minutes. So to that end, here we go. Solana has been sort of this breakout star recently, just really exciting stuff. They are a smart contract platform, so you can compare them pretty equivalent, to something like Ethereum. Well, all right, maybe not as big as Ethereum, but they're definitely one of these up and coming Ethereum competitors, right? So put them in the same regards as something like a Polkadot or an Avalanche, but that's probably a good comparison as Avalanche. What Solana is particularly trying to do is they're trying to be fast. They're trying to be they're using this consensus mechanism that is proprietary to them to be both fast and secure, and it's called proof of history. It's pretty cool. There's some really good ideas there, and you're starting to see new projects being built out of them. We talked about one of them last week. Let's see. I got to go over to my screen's too big here. I can't see it all. Which one? Oh, yes, the graph. The graph is one of them building out of there, and Ren is another one. So cool. Nice little continuity from last week. All right. So Solana is really cool. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff, and they've definitely broken out very recently, and that's really cool to see. Another one I'm going to skip ahead here is Kasama. Kasama is probably the one that I'm most excited about today. The ones I'm going to be talking about, just because I think it's doing a lot of this stuff that, again, as I was mentioning earlier, layer two I think is going to be the next big thing in terms of it's going to be like NFTs were back in February, for example, the thing that everybody's going to be talking about pretty soon here. So Kasama is right at the, eye of the storm for that kind of stuff. It's doing scalability stuff. It is interfacing with Polkadot, which has obviously been super hot this year. So I really like what Kasama is doing. I think they're very innovative, and I think there's one that you should definitely check out under the ticker KSM. Definitely check that out. Very cool. Moving along here, another one that I think is doing some really interesting things and has been only recently entered the market was ThorChain under the ticker Rune. They were in development for 3+ years. They were doing a lot of stuff in the back end there, and they only just recently launched back in April. So for them to be breaking into the top 50, it's really cool. They're doing stuff that I think is just really, really smart. There's a lot going on there. Their marketing, their whole mythological motifs and stuff. If you go through their website, it's scattered with all this Viking stuff and whatever. They're really doubling down on their themes. That's cool. But what they're really doing is letting you trade real cryptocurrencies with different blockchains without having to do wrapped or synthetic versions like you would have with like synthetics, the next token down. What that really means is that it's promoting more of this interoperability, layer two scalability, and really just making the market more efficient, if that's the easy way to put it. So I think that's really cool. I think there's a lot of really good ideas on display with ThorChain. And yeah, it's definitely one you should definitely check out. So moving along here, synthetics was one that I've talked about synthetics a lot on this channel. And the idea of doing synthetic assets and derivatives, I think, is going to be one of those trends we see over the next 5 years just really start to stand out, because it's something that blockchain cryptocurrency can do that I don't think the legacy financial space, the legacy markets, the legacy way of trading assets. I don't really think there's a good parallel there because they're used to trading real commodities and real company equity and all that sort of stuff, and not doing derivatives on things like the prices of real estate. When you look at like a neighborhood, for example, because everything is just so regimented and paper driven. And now that we're moving towards more digital processes, it just unlocks a lot of really interesting, cool financial perspectives and possibilities. So synthetics is really cool. I think they've done a lot of really good stuff, and I've yet to see one project out there that does it better than them in this regard. So very cool. Scale is one that I think we talked about back in maybe March or so, and it's definitely come a long way. Same with like Alpha, as we mentioned earlier. And for those who are just tuning in, if you want to follow along this list with me, the link is down in the bio below. So just want to make sure that that's apparent. But yeah, the Scale is doing just another. It's another example of these like NFT platforms that are pushing this sort of usability perspective of crypto forward. Very cool stuff going on. The same thing is going on with Theta. They're also doing NFTs. Really like that kind of stuff. I think there's the NFT trend is not dead. I think it's taking a breath right now, and we're going to see some really good stuff come out of it. In the same way that we saw DeFi last summer, went through the yield farming kind of phase, and that was like a flash in the pan, really hot, and then it was really not. And now it's really coming back. Now that we have real market, automated market makers and yield aggregators and, projects like Alpha Finance, that's where we sort of needed that. We got, cart ahead of the horse there. And now that it's had some time to really grow up and mature, really cool stuff is going to be coming out of the DeFi space. So yeah, love to see that. The last two on here are kind of more concerned with payments. And in particular, NuCypher is more concerned about privacy, whereas Utrust is more about like point of sale, like POS systems, getting the sort of small business perspective aspect of blockchain payments, moving that ball forward. So that's very important. I think there's definitely still a need for that, even if it is, you're fighting the 800-pound gorilla of the established payment processors and just the way that things have been done. It's not a system that you're going to dismantle overnight or disrupt. So it's definitely going to take some time for blockchain to make any sort of meaningful ground in that area. But it's definitely still if you can play that long game, it's definitely one that is a winning formula, because for people to be able to have more sovereignty over their payments and the ways that they're spending and saving and all that sort of stuff, we know that that's over a long enough trend that's going to win out versus let's compare it to the legacy financial system and the fees and all that sort of stuff. Chase was just getting grilled in Congress last week, Jamie Dimon, over the fact that they had like 1.5 billion in overdraft fees during the last year. A little egregious, guys. So I think people are ready for change, and I think that's kind of indicative of the crypto space, is that people are kind of fed up with the systems not representing them, not giving them their fair share. And that's where we're seeing disruption potential right now for the crypto markets. So to that end, let's talk about the crypto markets and what's going on. Certainly you're seeing kind of a crazy bounce today, especially with breakouts like Binance. So cool stuff. Let's talk charts.
Hey, I'm doing my part.
Hey, I'm doing my charts.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah, right.
All right, let's take a look here and see what we have in the charts. Now, the way I want you to read these is, a lot of people will just look at this and say, well, I don't know if it's going to go up or down. And quite honestly, I don't either. So here's what you do. First of all, what I want you to do is box in the price, like what Marcos is talking about here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a box around the current consolidation of the price. And first of all, understand that it could go either way from here. It can go up, it can go down, and you don't know which way it's going to go. So the point here is that you have to prepare yourself for either outcome for this to go up or to go down. Again, don't drink the Kool-Aid here and say, well, I know it's going to go up or I know it's going to go down. Let the price show you which way it's going to go. Now, what we can do here is this on Bitcoin, we're already starting to see this break out on some of the other coins. Like this is exactly what I'm talking about here. With Binance Coin, we have the same kind of decision box setting up here. And in this case, we set up a higher low and a higher high. This has already made the transition back to an uptrend. Now, what has to happen, and this is going to drive you guys nuts, because what has to occur before this finally starts to lift off to the upside is we have to have the same thing happening on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, all this looks like is just a big sort of bounce here. But what more than likely will have to happen is at some point, the price will fade back down again. And this is where everybody's going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their minds because the price is going to come down again. But this is absolutely necessary. You've got to create this sort of negativity of the higher low that's in there. And this is where you're going to see all these bad articles on Cointelegraph or whatever you want. But if this is meant to be, this is where the price is going to plant its foot in the ground and take off, because it's going to ride that negativity. Bull markets always ride a negative wave of sentiment to the upside. As that negativity gets unwound to the upside, remember, shorts have to buy back their positions to clear them, right? So this is longer term. What's probably going to happen is that we're going to see something like this occur, is that we're going to see another fade, we're going to see a higher low, and then it's going to take off again. So as I look at this, I mean, we've got that going on with, this is Binance Coin. We're also seeing Dogecoin do the same thing. Here's a higher low, higher high. This is already reversed, which is good. Now, something else that we can do is you can place a fib retracement on here to know when it's actually finished, right? And so at this point, Dogecoin's only reclaimed about 38.2% of the downdraft. I want to see this get above 61.8% before I know that there's a much higher probability of the price ripping from here. Okay, so this is what we're looking at across the board. It doesn't really matter what coin I'm looking at. Let's see. I know some of you guys were talking about like Digibyte and XRP, things like that. Oops, that's a wrong ticker. Let's try Digibyte versus the US dollar. So Digibyte versus the US dollar, it's hitting a high volume node down here, but by the same token, it's got to get above about 8 cents here. Digibyte's got to get above 8 cents before that recovery process is happening. Somebody else was asking for XRP, Ripple. Okay, same kind of deal here. It looks like it wants to get above $1.10, but it's going to have to significantly move above $1.10 before the recovery process is in place, and then it starts moving over to the weekly chart. So again, guys, I can go to any coin I want to, or any coin that you request, and we're all going to see about the same thing. The only ones that I'm seeing really take off right now are some of the ones that are against BTC, like Hero versus BTC. This one is ripping to the upside because of all the trading activity, and of course, BTC is soft. So you can look for some of these altcoins to rip if BTC continues to be weak. Otherwise, we're going to be looking for USD denominated assets. Okay, we've got about 5 minutes left here for the rest of our lightning round. Any questions that you guys have, anything else that you want to talk about, or ask us about how you get through these types of situations, we'll be happy to address with you guys.
Ooh, good question about the weekly charts. You want to take that one?
Let's see, which one is it? Disco Stew. All right. Hi there, guys. I look at the weekly charts of a lot of cryptos and tell me, honestly, is it a good time to buy? I don't think so. The highest growth dynamics. Okay, so Disco Stew, I love that, man. Disco Stew. One thing I want you guys to do is, a lot of people have been indoctrinated into this mode of buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Here, let me explain what I'm talking about here. So if we go over here, like buying the dip in BTC, buying the dip in BTC was pretty, it really depends on when you do this, because if you bought the dip in BTC back here in 2019, what is low can get lower and lower and lower. And pretty soon you just don't even want to look at your broker statement anymore or any of your assets. And you're looking at real estate or something like that. What I want you to do, and this is kind of what Disco Stu is alluding to, I believe, is that I want you to look at something that's trending higher on the weekly chart. So this actually is right now in a weekly downtrend. This has got a lower high and a lower low on BTC, and pretty much everything is kind of like that, although Ethereum came straight off of a high. This is, let's see, Binance Coin has gone from a higher high to a lower low, implying that the next high is going to be a lower high. Just be patient. Wait until you start to see a weekly uptrend. You're not going to catch the exact bottom, and it doesn't matter that you catch the exact bottom here. Buy assets that are trending higher in price as measured by a weekly uptrend, and that you'll save yourself so much grief if you do that. Will you catch the exact bottom print? No, but nobody gets a medal for getting the exact bottom print. It doesn't really matter, right? So I've seen this over and over again. People keep buying low and then they finally just give up because the thing is just, just dropping into the gutter and they just walk away from it. But when you're buying things, when you're patient to buy things that are heading higher in price, man, you feel pretty good. You realize you're doing the right thing. So that's just one piece of advice for today.
Crypto Social has a really good question about, are we going to replicate kind of, like what the market went through in 2013 or, what's going to happen next, basically. And I'll repeat some of what I talked about last week in terms of, at least for how I see this year playing out, is we're going to see kind of this continuation of three events. First, you have sort of like a dip, and what gets picked up from that dip is usually we need some sort of leading event. We need some sort of like flag bearing way to get crypto back into the public conscience. So that back in January, that was, the whole GameStop, AMC, Robinhood debacle, leading people, pushing people into crypto. And I, see it today. AMC went absolutely insane. But, we need a really good catalyst to push people forward. So that's the first step. Then it goes into fundamentals. So that's, sort of the DeFi stuff that I've been talking about, the layer 2 by July, that's all I think going to be right in the nice nucleus of where we see the gains for this next cycle come from. And then finally we get to the sort of the meme phase of things. And that's where, NFTs have been, that's what Dogecoin has been. And at that point, the cycle kind of repeats. But right now, I think we're looking for that big, flash point event that's going to push things back into the public conscience, get people excited about crypto. But this is generally the sort of lull moment right now before we get into the summer, and then I think things will pick up. So I think will we repeat 2013? The crypto markets are very different from 2013, where the stock market wants to kind of repeat itself or, look for consistency and things of that sort. I think crypto markets are defined by their unpredictable nature. There is some things that, history repeats, but most of the time it just rhymes. And in this regard, crypto is, it's going to do what it's going to do because it's developing, it's maturing, it's going to, continue to be unpredictable in a lot of ways. But I think we can predict that it's going to go up and that it's going to continue to gain relevance and adoption. So what do you think, Doc?
Yes, I'm sorry. I've been answering questions here, but people ask us all the time, like, well, what should I do with this? Should I buy? Should I hold? Should I, just go to cash? What should I do here? And, it all goes down to the same thing that I bring up all the time, which is rule number 1 of risk management. And this is something that took me a long time to learn. Most people are not taught this. We're throwing out these gold nuggets today. You may not be ready to hear this right now because you're being taught elsewhere the wrong things, right? But rule number one of risk management is before you buy something, determine what your stop is, determine what your exit is. Because you're doing that in a very rational form, right? When you don't have any money at risk, when you have nothing out there, you don't really care. You don't get any smarter when you get into a live position. In fact, that's where all the emotions come. And all of a sudden you're like, what do I do? What do I do? And when the price drops, we're not prepared for it because we only program our bias for one direction. That's why you bought it in the first place, right? So when it does something that you don't expect, all of a sudden panic kicks in, the old lizard brain kicks in, and we always make the wrong decision at the wrong exact time. So if there's one thing I can tell you is, do what you can right now to determine what your exit's going to be, and do that before you buy something. And that's going to be the biggest difference between yourself and the rest of the investing herd, which is what we all should be doing to separate ourselves from.
Yeah, the sort of people that are getting into crypto right now, I've gotten a lot of questions about, like, is it too late to be in crypto right now? What should I be doing? Should I be diversifying into altcoins? Alessandro's sharing some really good advice right now, so please check that out. But what I would say to people is that, you might not be early to crypto anymore, but you're definitely not late either. You're just in time. I think there's a lot of really good stuff that's going to happen over the next 10 years. I mean, this next 10 years of crypto, they're going to be different than the first 10 years, but they're not going to be any less exciting. It's going to be a great time to be in this space, to be investing, to be, finding ways to appreciate the value, what you invest. So I think it's there's definitely lots of opportunities around the corner. So just pay attention, educate yourself, and trade dispassionately, as Doc is kind of hinting at. And I think you'll do all right. But otherwise, keep watching Ready Set Crypto. That will help as well. Keep hanging out with us and our great community. If you haven't done so already, we've got some great resources down in the bio below. Come join our Discord. It's we're at 2,000 people now, so it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and we pride ourselves on making sure that it's a no shill zone. It's only for honest discussion and rational thought. So it's I would say one of the highest quality communities in the crypto space. So come join us, and we'd love to see you there. But otherwise, if you're also interested in what's going on with AMC and some of the stock market stuff today, definitely check out Ready Set Trade, which is our extension of the 10x tribe, as we like to call it, which is all around improving your trading skills and learning equity trading with Doc over here, and some of the strategies that you can employ to kind of mitigate risk and maximize your capital. So great education opportunity there. Invest in yourself. That's what I always try to encourage people to do is take some time, learn some things, and I think you'll be better off for it. But until then, or while you're doing so, appreciate you being a part of this community, and we'll definitely see you next week. We do these every Wednesday, and for those who missed most of this, or just as a reminder, the link to the list of all the coins that we talked about in the stream are down in the bio below. So go check those out. But until next week, Doc, do you have anything else? Closing thoughts?
No, just be patient with the reversal on here.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't look for this to happen overnight. And remember, the market's got to convince everybody that it's a lost cause. And that's the exact moment that it's going to rebound. It's always darkest before the dawn.
All right, cool. Well, thanks so much, guys. Take it easy out there, and we'll talk soon. Cheers, guys.
See you, everybody. Take care.